things change.
Things do change.
Things change.
We also haven't seen Skyscraper almost at all in Stage 3 of any NAL until now, basically. So things do indeed change towards the later half.
That was such a non-answer. You're like, we almost haven't seen it.
Okay, I was gonna say we haven't, but then I was like, I feel like we've seen it once.
It's played once.
Yeah, okay.
It's played one time, and I'm 99% certain that we casted it, by the way.
We did cast it. We did cast it.
Yeah, now I'm looking.
See, that's why I was gonna say we haven't seen it, but then I was like.
And guess who played it? Soniqs did.
Really?
They beat Space Station 7-5.
Okay.
Playday number 1. Playday number 1.
Oh, you're right.
Yes, we
No, you're right.
You know what we ddid?
What did we do?
We casted that one.
Yeah, I know we did that.
Yeah. We casted that.
I know we cast that one.
Operator bans are in. Ying and Osa not available as the two attackers. That means that Nook is free and clear to be used, which is a bit odd.
And so is Monty, which Geo off the bat will just hover over. And Monty is an operator that was banned in that previous matchup of DarkZero and OXG, who just played Skyscraper as well. And Monty is really brought for just a single bomb set attack, which is that karaoke defense, because it makes the bomb set a little bit more easier to attack, if you will. Osa, similar fashion, you can get that cover with those Talon shields. Ying is an operator that most teams they can bring for that cheese factor, the smokes, the candelas, etc., the flashbangs. One operator that does get brought out a fair bit on Skyscraper but isn't banned as often is Mirage, which Forrest has chosen to bring as well. And this Mirage right here can oversee the entirety of the bomb set and the outside exterior wall and that balcony there. So that's going to apply a little bit more pressure once you get close to the building on the initial entry points, as the attack inside of Soniqs will have to do.
If we look at the statistics of that single Playday of Skyscraper stats, graphs, percentages,
Yes.
it is a defender-sided map based on the single time it's been played here in the North American League. The defense won 58% of the rounds. Tea and Karaoke was played 5 times. The defense won it 3 of those 5 times.
Okay.
Kitchen Barbecue was played 5 times. The defense won it 4 of those 5 times. Office Exhibition was played twice. The defense won it 0% of the time. The Master Bedroom Bomb Site was not played at all. Will that change? First bit of action, we'll see some active bandit tricking, and they are not able to contain J90 in this position. One of the things that have allowed bandits across the globe to trick better is that now you can attach multiple batteries to the wall. It used to be before that you'd either have to shoot the battery or pick it up and put it back down. Now you can just put 2 on the same wall.
Yeah. Another small addition to that is that you have less grenades on the attack and lineup. Only 2 right now from the side of Soniqs. Last time we saw Skyscraper being played, there was much more grenades available.
No! This was exactly what we saw yesterday, by the way, in that matchup of Beast Coast versus Space Station that you and I actually casted. And who was it that said it? I was either in an exit interview or was seen on Twitter, or it might have even been you or somebody on the desk said it. Basically, at a pro level, you should not be able to successfully bandit trick. Period.
I said that, yeah.
Did you say that?
I said that, yeah, on the cast. I take credit for it.
Credit for it.
And I stand by it, because again, if you just EMP the wall like Soniqs just did and you don't even check for the bandit trick, you will get bandit tricked. And when I say it shouldn't happen at this level of play, it's because you should be checking for those things, throwing out grenades, doing verticality. You have Rexen on Sophia, you have 2 grenades on Kansen, yet you get bandit tricked twice on the same wall. Not good enough.
Now there have to be another plan in for the Soniqs as they've been taken out by a bit of utility. First kill goes to Astralis, answered back very quickly, effectively a trade. Astralis waiting, softening up the Yana now. DP Fire still in drum, holding court, lined up. Down goes Gunner. Astralis is stopping this SQ team in its tracks. DP Fire still has the angle. Grixer is no match for him. That leaves what little was left of Kansen and what little is left of Geo to deal with this bomb site of Office Exhibition, which again had not been won in the only time we've seen it so far by the defenders right now. In a 4v2 with 35 seconds left. Utility still perfectly set up by Astralis.
Yep.
Looks extremely unlikely for the Soniqs to put this one into the winners column for them on attack.
But there's a single point of HP for both members as well, and a Mariner staring down their hallway. There's just no real way in for Geo or Kansen in this round, and you can drone all you want, but there is no way you have any foothold here to gain.
There's a flash that'll go through, eating ADSs, shuttle pops up. Kansen only had a tiny bit of HP. Geo will fall the same to a bullet or 2. Just prolonging the inevitable at this point. 5 seconds left to go. Does he decide to stay alive? Do it for the stats.
Woo!
And he does indeed. do it for the stats. Astralis wins the round as time runs out, and Geo is not able to put anything together.
It's still weird for me to see Geo on Soniqs. I'm always thinking, oh, we're watching TSM because Geo's here. But no, this is actually Soniqs that we're watching instead because changes happen during between stages. They scramble it up, you know. Skies is back on DarkZero. Wow. Crazy things happening right now.
Yeah, I wonder who else could have been on DarkZero.
You wonder, huh?
I wonder who else could have potentially been brought in. I wonder who it could be.
I mean, Laxing said he was offered a spot.
I mean,
so I guess Laxing's the other person.
I heard that the criteria was a world champion, so they got one.
Oh, yeah. It almost happened, you know. It almost happened.
Well, they did get a world champion. Sky's the world champion.
Okay.
I'd like to remind all of you here that there's only one, because I don't know what's happened with the actual world championships, but they are probably not going to be this year. We haven't heard anything about them. I know they were. So I mean, I was like, part of me is actually like, what happens when there's a world championship and then SI is also the world champions? Because
yeah.
Who's gonna say what? Like, we already have enough players winning majors calling themselves world champions, and it's like, no, that's not correct. But anyway.
So you have World Cup champions.
World Cup champions.
Which sounds
I think you'd have to say.
Yeah.
But you want to say like world champions. Either way, you are only a world champion if you have won the 6th Invitational. It is that simple. You win anything else, that's a hell of an accomplishment. Congratulations, you're still not a world champ. And because Skies and Laxing were on that team, along with Bosco, at the 6th Invitational that won Elevate.
Yep.
On console.
Yep.
Doesn't matter if it's on console
on
or not.
Xbox.
They are still world champions. You can't take that away. Sky's a world champion.
That's a good point.
Thank you. I try to make good points.
I would vote for you, Parker. I'm just going to tell you that.
Thank you
Your statements are very great and very accurate.
I will be commissioner
You'll be commissioner
of Rainbow Six.
Okay.
There we go. And I will, if you tweet that you're a world champion after winning a major, then I ban you for a year. That's how it works. And then I take your championship away from you. Either way. First round was good for Astralis. Don't let the thing at the top tell you that it's a 5v4. It is not. It is 5v5. Everybody's still upright. The main issue for the Soniqs last time around was coordination. They could not get rid of the bandit batteries on the wall.
Okay.
Well, they can get rid of J90. Rexon literally gets droned in, goes in, and with a great amount of precision, takes him down. But DP Fire has the answer back. There's another player from Soniqs not too far off. Rexon was not all on his own. DP Fire sees the ace. Where's he going to go, though? So many angles, so many targets, so little time.
Arguably the hardest thing right now on Skyscraper is to get that initial entry foothold on the attack inside. We just saw DarkZero struggle with that exact same thing, and this repel right now from Gio, it does do some work. It finds Shuttle in the feet and the toes. It's a free kill for him. But again, map presence is very vague for the attack inside, and they still have to make their way into the windows and these doors.
Forest down below, all well spread out. It's barbecue kitchen defense. Teams right now just holding steady. That's a nice pick for Kansan as DP Fire was looking for information, playing to die upstairs, over by Karaoke. Down goes Forest as well, and Kansan from the same position. Slaughter's iconic. Soniqs win the round.
Yeah, and it really is a matter of how much does Astralis want to fight for this space right now, because they could have fallen off that upstairs hold and, you know, either gone downstairs or gone to the office side of things, but they chose to stay base and die for that spot or fight for it at least, and they just happened to lose the gunfights. Decent trade there from DP Fire, but after that, no trades were had. It was one by one, and that is not going to get you anywhere. So Astralis had to either play more together or sacrifice the ground and fight elsewhere on the map. Soniqs, decent pace in these rounds here, and of course finding those openings that they need. Karaoke bomb site is where the Monty would come out if anything. Gio has hovered it so far, could stick it of course. This is a very stable, common thing to do on this bomb site attack.
Attacker repick still in. We've only seen one change so far. Rexon liked the buck on the previous bomb site, but now instead sees that the Zofia might be a better option. So I'll go with that.
You can get some soft destruction, clear out those shields, Ash as well, similar story.
Okay, I like this.
We want utility, right? Because if anything's going to stop the Monty, it's going to be that shield on the rotate to the Karaoke bomb side on that north part of the map right here by the staircase. So you want to clear out what you can. We do see Soniqs mostly spawning on the west-hand side, which does indicate a Karaoke Monty attack with that back stairs and outside balcony, perhaps. Gio has opted for the EMP grenades, not the smoke canisters as you'd normally see from him, so it could actually be used in a different approach here towards the Geisha side, which that's what Gio is. For that wall right there. Yep.
I will say this. When I play the game, I do not like shields. When I watch the game, I am a shield enjoyer.
That makes sense.
If you want to bring out a clash, I am hyped as hell to be able to put my words to it. If you want to bring out a blitz, or God forbid you decide to throw the round and play fuse shield, go right ahead. I am here for it. I'm fully on board. And the way that a Monty can effectively take this bomb site upstairs, you can walk up downstairs, you can go through the back door, as long as there aren't lines of sight that could possibly get some damage done to you from either side, then you'll be good, you'll be safe.
That's correct. Forest position on the back stairs is the most crucial player for the side of Astralis. Of course, he's got the toxic canister to slow down Geo on the Monty, but his position on the staircase is holding this entire bomb site together. The moment he falls, life gets a lot more difficult for the defenders, so that's where Soniqs' focus will be in the beginning here. Of course, Astralis, they try and support Iconic downstairs with that hole in the bottom part of the floor. He has a line of sight to assist Forest if Canton pushes up too far.
This is a slow round so far. The last round was quite slow too. They're taking their time to work through this. As you said, the Monty will be that main focal point, taking some damage. And they round from below, but Iconic, a great read on the cans, and Gunners down 2. Soniqs have lost 2 players, and now Geo under fire, puts the shield away. Grixer to the rescue, but it might be too little too late. DP fire falls also. Suddenly the Soniqs have got themselves a way in here. But they have a lot of time to work with, so they can continue to get this ball rolling. Rexon on a rampage. He's now downed. Let's put Grixer in a 1v2. What can Grixer accomplish? A lot, but oh, Shuttle reads it so well through the wall. Astralis takes the lead back.
That right there is a huge round for Astralis, because normally when you're faced up against the Monty, what we see in the past on Skyscraper is that the attackers have such a high win percentage because there's so few ways to counterplay it. Came to that Iconic wallbang, really opened things up, and then Forest ended up finding Geo with the Toxic Babe, and of course Geo went for the aggressive play, having lost 2 of his team members, and that right there sealed the deal for them. And that is huge for Astralis. Skyscraper tends to be a defender favorite across the board. What we saw earlier between OXG and DarkZero was very, very similar, where the attackers just could not find a solid footing anywhere. We're starting to see a similar pattern right now, especially when it comes to the opening kill side. If you lose the opening kill trade as an attacker, it is just so difficult to find a way back into the round because the map is so big. There's a lot of different avenues to take an approach. There are so many crossfires being established by the defending team, and we saw that from Astralis last round. Bulletproof camera oversaw the entire hallway and both staircases. The moment you walk past the door point, you're gonna get red pinged by Bulletproof camera, and 2 members of Astralis will just hold you down. You somehow gotta win both of those gunfights back to back. It's no easy task. Mira being brought again as we are making our way back to that office bomb set where the game started off, and Astralis winning that round pretty convincingly.
Did you hear the back and forth shotguns? Boom, 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 boom. Oh, it was nice. Sorry, I didn't mean to derail your point, but just when stuff like that happens, similar to when people are reinforcing at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm just like, you know what? No point is too important that we can't stop talking about it to reference this.
You're all right. See, this is how you clear Bandit trick, by the way. You throw the grenade perfectly cooked with the exothermic charge. If Bandit was there,
I was going to say, but there's only one problem.
Yeah, there's no Bandit.
There's no Bandit.
But it's like, that's what should have happened the first time, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, whenever I reference that you can't Bandit trick at this level of play, that's because that's what should happen every single time. But if you get lazy or sloppy with it, well, then you will get Bandit tricked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you beat a Bandit trick? They don't have a Bandit. Done. Look at that. Great job, everybody.
Like that.
We did it. We accomplished it.
Great job.
No Bandit that we need to worry about. 1 minute off the board. These rounds are taking forever. I don't know what it is. It was like, when we casted yesterday, we'd be talking, and we'd look up, and we'd be like, oh my God, there's 40 seconds left in the round. Now it's like we're talking. We're like, there's still 3 minutes left.
To be fair, the pacing of Skyscraper, especially with Mirror on the board, is a little bit slower paced than most other maps, especially because the approach for Soniqs is very calculated right now. But even though they are trying to calculate every single move, Astralis, they're there fighting every single time, and once again gets the opening kill. To trade back with that grenade from Kansen, but that's the last nade available to the attacking side because Rexon got shut down earlier. So little utility left now for the attackers. And Astralis, they can just hold on and wait for their move.
Been so many trades here in this game where teams really have not been able to have that upper hand very early on. It keeps them on a very, very even level. Soniqs have the upper hand right now, though. Astralis from the back Waiting for a walk in towards office. DP Fire manages to get past Gunner. Gunner will hop right into the frost mat. Baited. J90 now holding his own court. Soniqs have a 3v2, but the thing with Soniqs that one of them's in a frost mat and Gunner cannot be retrieved. Iconic, do you not see him? There you go. Get the free kill. You're not the one that was instrumental in that. It was Shuttle, but Iconic gets it either way. 30 seconds left. J90 still here. That's the real deal, baby. Can't light up Kansan enough. Kansan actually doesn't take a single point of damage. Will now hop through the window. He's in. J90, a different angle. Sees the thermite go by, but he's just a little bit too fast. He knows exactly where he is, giving the calls to Iconic. They can work together to do this. And Shio's been downed. Now it's Kansan in an act of desperation, but he's been spotted as well. Astralis have this information. They just need to waste time too, but it's Iconic to come in. Kansan, the unfortunate team kill. And J90 seals the deal as Astralis go up 3-1.
A tough spot to be in. I mean, you're on the bomb side, sure, but the yellow-pink information coming out and 2 mirror windows effectively against you. And you have no actual cover, you just cannot plant, you cannot get anything done, and therefore you will fall on the side itself. And Soniqs, once again, struggling in that first minute and 30 seconds into the round. It was Forrest who got that opening kill. The frost trap bait was just beautiful. I know it wasn't intentional. You know, Alibi just sprinted past the window and went for his own gunfight. And then you're like, it's a freebie if I jump in this window. And then, a little bit too fast. Didn't really check my feet below, or below my feet rather. And a frost trap. A pogmat, if you will, might just find you. It's a very frustrating thing to deal with in professional play because you feel like it's such an embarrassment to die to a frost trap because you, in theory, should never die to one. You jump in a window, you should always check below you. It's just like a technicality, you have to do it. But sometimes you're in a rush. It's also why playing down the clock is such a useful piece of utility in Rainbow Six Siege, because if you're forcing the enemy to be a little bit more rushy than usual, you know, be sloppy, skip a corner, miss a step, like, for example, checking below a window, you might just get a lot of value back in return. Shuttle, of course, bringing that same operator, the Frost again. Skyscraper has a lot of windows, so tons of different ways to utilize the gadget. We are on the bomb side that did not go in the defender's favor. We are in Kitchen again. Kitchen Barbecue. Soniqs is clear top floor. They found their kills, and the Astralis fell rather quickly. And that led to every single member from Astralis dying on the roam.
30 seconds off of the board. Early moments of the second final defense here for Astralis. Again, going off of the skyscraper play that we've seen. One earlier today. Did not work out so well for DZ. And obviously the SQ match even before that, we're suddenly seeing skyscraper pop up more than ever before. So exciting. I do like it. I do like when we go to maps that see seldom play. I mean, you look at Bank, it had the second lowest play rate coming into today as well. And so you see maps that all of a sudden get brought out. Though I do always get a bit fascinated when a map that you don't usually play or we don't see all that often gets used by a team when there is a high amount of stakes.
Yeah. It's a matter of, you know, you risk the biscuit, if you will. Because, of course, when you're in this position in Pro League, you're always thinking, okay, we might play Skyscraper, sure, but does our enemy play Skyscraper comfortably? Well, we think we are more comfortable than they are. We can take this risk, maybe get a freebie, and that might just put us to the major.
Ooh, Kansan has been so efficient on these opening picks of his. And he gets another as well. Goodness, he's just feeling it. The pitter-patter goes. That's put Astralis in such a bad spot right now. 4v2 with the Soniqs, looking to keep things close in terms of numbers on the round. J90 will need to clutch out with a tiny bit of HP. This is not looking good. He's going to be watched from all sorts of angles. He drops here, he makes a sound, and it's Grixer holding way far away. Easily done. Soniqs looked mighty fine on that round. They just walked in and slaughtered Astralis, who didn't even seem to fight back. Lead is still in the hands of Astralis, but the Soniqs will fight to tie the first half in the final round.
Yeah, the bad news with Soniqs is that they're only finding attacking success on that kitchen bomb side. We're not going to see that again from Astralis unless they, for some odd reason, want to go there again, despite losing it both times. And they're probably not going to do that because they do have Karaoke opened up for them instead, where they have found success instead. And they are indeed choosing for the more successful bomb side. Last time we saw this, of course, it was that Monty round where things just went really well for Astralis. Iconic had that wallbang downstairs in Kitchen Barbecue. We had Forest hold the brown stairs successfully against the Monty, and that really was all that happened. Then was crossfires established. And Soniqs, they were fighting. Rexon and Kansen did a good job at getting a couple of kills between them, but it wasn't enough to get the round. Gio is seemingly gonna stick the Monty right now. So a similar approach perhaps, hoping for a different outcome from the side of Soniqs. Of course, Lesion on Skyscraper, very phenomenal operator to bring. You have a lot of staircases, you have a lot of roam capabilities, and of course, especially if Monty is a viable operator on this map, you can also help counterplay that specific operator. With you having those secondary EMP grenades again, I think it's going to be a similar fashion where you go on the Geisha Repel first, you open up that breach, then you rotate back to that main staircase, just like last time. Try and get max value and max pressure on the map, instead of just walking in from a single doorway or a single hallway.
Selma's going off, opening up that way into Geisha that we see teams like to use so readily. Again, just as we saw in the Skyscraper matchup that Soniqs played in all the way back in Playday #1, there has been no play on that master side of the map, but now Soniqs will go to defense. They could, realistically, they could go there. They played all 12 rounds, though, and we didn't see it back then. Something new could always emerge, as unlikely as it may be.
That's correct. It is a bomb set that is very region dependent.
It is a bomb site, that is actually.
It is a bomb site.
It is a bomb site.
Yep. Might not get played a lot, but it is one. Just like this is a round. And so far in this round, we're taking it slow and calculated once again. First Toxic Babe goes out from Forest. Of course, that's the most important piece of utility. Gio on this doorway to the hallway can start applying pressure upon Iconic, who's trying to assist Forest on his position.
The sounds are going off. That's a laser gate that's actually taken by somebody. Forest droned out on these brown stairs. First kill goes to Soniqs. Will it be answered back by Astralis? They've done a mighty fine job of equalizing, but does not seem to be the case. Forest gunned down as Kansen again just walks up, and the killing begins. J9O in an even trickier spot. The Monty breathing down his neck. He and Shuttle are trapped inside of this room, and they've got 3 other players from Soniqs that are unaccounted for right now. That's going to be mighty tough. Gio dropping the diffuser. Grenades from Kansen will go out. The rest of the Soniqs being called in to assist. As a good opportunity for J9O. Falls by. The Monty in the midst of the site now. This is going to be a big problem. J9O getting punished for it. It's a 3rd kill for Gunner. Now it's Shuttle all alone in a 1v5. He's got information by the stairs, but Soniqs do it flawlessly. First half in the books. All teams tied up 3-3.
Yep. Once you deal with Forest in that position, the round is basically over. Forced out early Toxic Babes. No real trading game coming out from Astralis that time around, and Soniqs did a good job at counter-playing what their previous issues were, not finding that initial foothold downstairs. Much more aggressive from Soniqs once they took the time to get into the right positions. And now we see a 3-3 side swap. Typically, if you defend, that is not what you want to get. You want to get 4 rounds minimum. That is your goal. So this is still anyone's game, of course. Soniqs are surprisingly enough going to start on the least successful bomb side in this particular matchup so far. It has a 0% win rate, played twice by Astralis. Soniqs, different approach. They got a more aggressive lineup. Capcan, Vigil, and the Mirror, while still bringing that utility in the Frost Traps and of course the Magnets from Gio as well to help fortify positions that otherwise could be naded out. And Astralis also so far bringing a slightly different attacking lineup. The Finger is being seen right now. That's going to give you that overheal, going to give you more comfortability in gunfights. If you get injured, although not in the Frostbite, if you get injured in a gunfight or by anything else like a C4, you can get revived across the map. And then bring in DP Fire on the Doke AB to help apply some of that pressure or information game throughout the round. While also, of course, bringing those secondary EMPs to help breach any walls. Double Heart Breach is a peculiar choice for both Forest and Iconic because you're not going to be missing utility elsewhere. You only have 1 set of grenades. You have a lot of members on your team that is, you can't really risk losing them. If you lose the Sledge, nade's gone. If you lose Dokkaebi, gadget gone. If you lose any of either Forest or Iconic on Heart Breach, well, you lose half your Heart Breach, and sure, you got the other one as a spare, but the only real injured player right now is going to be J9O, who also has an active use gadget on those Adrenaline Surges from the Finger. So very valuable members here.
I like that you pinpoint it as an active use gadget, because we do have those passive gadgets that get mentioned from time to time. If an Azami dies after the Kiba barriers have been put up, that's a passive gadget at that point, but obviously she's a generating gadget as well. Same with Legion, those gadgets will persist. ADSs will stick around, but if you're somebody like an Echo, like you're still going to have the Yokais, but you don't get the concussive blast out of them. If you're a Smoke, you die. You lose, obviously, the toxic canisters. Those don't stick around. It's a good distinction to be made for people, because oftentimes, I find there's an issue with the player base not understanding the value that you have in staying alive on an operator like Azami, like Legion, like Wamai, versus an operator that, you know, like an Alibi or a Jaeger, and that's why we do tend to see them roam, because their gadgets already go down, they persist, even if they die.
You're absolutely correct. It's the reason why Smoke is normally an anchor player as well, because the lower the time on the round, well, the more value your Toxic Babes will have, because the value just goes up. That might be a freebie because the phone was ringing.
And Rexon was caught off guard. Absolute chaos at the moment on this barbecue karaoke defense downstairs. Everybody heading for the hills. We're seeing a breakneck pace from Astralis. It differs wildly from Soniqs. Soniqs were very patient getting into the building, very precise about how they wanted to attack. It didn't always work, but it was a tempo that they maintained for all 6 rounds. Astralis has already broken that mold by getting into the building, causing pandemonium so quickly. Astralis in particular, though, boy, oh boy, they are just meeting the Soniqs head on and are poised with 40 seconds left to take the lead again. The Soniqs have trailed or tied this entire match, always fighting from behind, always trying to play catch up, and they're in the same position right now with Astralis in a 4v2. 30 seconds to go. Janino sustaining damage. Doesn't he have an adrenal surge to get himself back up? The answer is yes. That leaves Gunnar as the last one alive as he watches Grixer die next to him, and it's a 3-man hatch drop from Astralis right after they get the final pick. AST wins their very first round on attack.
Looked pretty good to me right there. And I mean, again, the confidence from Astralis, that's when they're the strongest version of themselves. So I'm really happy to see, for their side at least, opening up their attack with that explosiveness that they're known for. I thought you were going to say something with that.
Yeah, I was. I called it barbecue karaoke. It's a barbecue kitchen because I was looking at my notes and the bomb site rotation for round 5 was barbecue and number 6 was karaoke. So I just read them and I was like, barbecue karaoke. And I was like, wait a minute. I was like, that's not how it is.
That's not how it goes. To be fair, the way Astralis was defending the bomb site, it almost looked like a karaoke defense because there are like 4 members upstairs all dying there. So I don't even blame you for it. I'm sure some people are going to have the question, like, why aren't people bringing, or why aren't teams rather bringing Lion to this map as much as other maps, for example? And I think the simple answer is that you don't do a whole lot of moving on Skyscraper. I mean, look at how the defenders are playing. You're choosing what area of map that you care about, then you find a nice, comfortable corner, and you sit there for a very long time. It's not like when you're extending out on a clubhouse basement, you're running out the map, dropping hatches, playing on different floors. Normally on Skyscraper, you're choosing a square, a 4x4 room if you will, and you just play in that room throughout the entirety of the round, the majority of it at least. So you want to have gadgets that don't have to be relied on mobility. That's why, for example, the Dokkaebi gives you more value than the Lion in this specific case. It's also why the Munti is so strong, to help force people out of those comfortable corners or comfortable positions on the map. Also why the Ossa is banned from Astralis, because again, similar fashion, it gives the attackers a way to clear those areas more comfortably. Could be a dangerous position here. DMR fires down the door. Gunnar swings, sees Jones, runs away instead, keeps himself alive. All the way back he goes.
Finka being brought yet again. Something that you and I actually talked about yesterday on the way to the studio was how EU still favors the LMG quite a lot, even with the recoil changes and Finka being more of a staple over there than over here. Her prevalency in North America very, very low, and her presence as an operator is not where it used to be. That's for sure.
Another thing I saw on Twitter, actually, if I was in Des, the EUL caster, is that Thunderbird is not really being played almost at all anymore. And my theory is that, I mean, it's being played right now by Grixer, so like that's the timing of that. But when Finka isn't being brought from the attackers, no healing's being had from that side. So defenders just seem to not want to match that either. But when Finka was in the meta, so was Thunderbird, right? So if one team is bringing healing, it's almost like the other team also wants to bring it to kind of match that chip damage that you might lose. Like a tiny bit of health from a wallbang from a teammate.
Yeah. It's always well characterized as well as chip damage because that's essentially what it is, right? It's you see lots of little skirmishes where you'll have a final execute come in and 4 players of the 10 still alive are sitting at about 70% of their HP because they get dealt a bullet or 2 through the wall, some bullet pen happens, etc. All the while that we've been talking, it's left us with the final minute here in round number 8. Astralis has the lead. Soniqs want to equalize. It's been a fairly dominant half when things go well, but Astralis are just going to march right in. Forrest the first kill, taking control. He's looking for more. We talk about chip damage. Your eyes should move to the right side of your screen. Astralis suffering from some devastating blows, none of which fatal until Geo gets in on it, traded out by Forrest. Astralis still having that advantage. They got 30 seconds to get in. J90 and Iconic making their guns just absolutely rain bullets. But there's Rexon suddenly with 2, and Iconic has been downed as well. It's Forrest in a 1v2. Things look mighty good for the Soniqs. He'll creep up. He knows exactly where he is, and Forrest wins. Oh, poor Rexon. He couldn't see the forest for the trees on that one. Too focused on getting Iconic. And Astralis stretches their lead. They're up 5-3.
You really can't call Forrest a support player, right? Because, I mean, just rewind. Look at that round. He blows open the Geisha wall. And what is he, just a thermite player? He runs straight through it, gets the opening kill for his team, jumps back up, trades his member inside of Geisha, goes to the bomb side and wins the 1 versus 1 as well. That is some aggression, it is confidence, and most importantly, it enables the entire team of Astralis to go for that execute together because he finds the opening. And Forrest is known for this, playing a hard support operator, but being in the midst of the bomb side before anybody else. And the Soniqs, they gotta figure out what to do next because they're calling a tactical timeout as they're slowly staring down match point. If Astralis gets 1 more on the board, it's 5-3 in round score. And of course, Astralis are still in the lead.
Well, I mean, a perfect time for a timeout.
Yeah.
Allow Goddess to try and get the team back into a level head. Soniqs are 1-0 on this map. Prior to today, Skyscraper had been played a single time. That was back in Playday number 1, where Space Station, the first team to qualify for the major, no longer the Hanging Gardens of Babylon major. As I leaked yesterday on stream, they decided that after I said that they would move it to Sweden.
Oh, that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to move it.
They wanted to move it. They heard that I said the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, and they were so upset with me for leaking it that at the very final moment, they decided to go in Sweden. So if you are upset at the location of the major, you can blame me. I take full responsibility for it because I hear that the Hanging Gardens of Babylon are great this time of year. As you can see, this is the qualifying probability for the Soniqs. Basically, they need to make it to overtime, and then they qualify for the major. They will join Space Station. Mirage is also in an excellent position to clinch today. They play up against beastcoast, who have not looked like the sharpest team in the North America League. If Mirage are able to win that, which most predictors should feel confident in Mirage's choice, then, or in chances, then Mirage could go. It was discussed on the analyst desk that there is a possibility for all 4 teams in North America to be clinched today, which would set us up for a very wild final day of, I guess, just jostling, looking for SI points next week.
Yep. There's a ton of potential here for so many teams, really, and that's the beauty of it all, is that it's no longer and I say no longer, like, since this year, since the stage 1, 2, and 3, it really has been a very close competition in the NAL, as well as the EUL, really, where you can't really predict with certainty who's going to be qualifying, who's going to be doing well. I mean, we look at TSM winning invitationals, then getting like 9th and 8th place back-to-back, but then in stage 3, they're also doing really good again. So we're seeing a lot of different teams representing the North American League on the international stage, which I love to see. Ibanax Cairo is getting great value here. 2 on each castle barricades, open those up, and of course the rest goes on that Geisha breach instead for an entry point for the attackers.
Everything's get opened up, 1 minute off of the clock. We see any goods from Soniqs after this timeout? Well, the immediate answer is no. Shuttle just walks in, and the story of this match has been for these Buck players just mercilessly slaughtering their opponents, walking in and finding relative freebies. Rexon has had an even game, which for him is out of character. We're used to Rexon dropping double digits and doing so with a very healthy KD. The thing that has always benefited the Sonics is that they have a ton of depth in the fragging capacity. Grixer, Kansan, and then you add Gunner to it. And Gunner just going 1-6 has been a story in and of itself that does not put them in an excellent spot. Geo, the support player who's not necessarily tasked with getting all of the kills, he's not going to get any so far because Astralis have got the first 2 picks and sit comfortably in a 5v3 that's just become a 5v2 with over a minute to go.
What are we gonna do right now for your Sonics? Yeah, Chris, jump out. But a Forest wins the gunfight again. Ridiculous.
This could be a flawless round. Moving to match points. Can the Sonics with Grixer find a single kill? No,
God.
they can't. Our second flawless today. It came in round number 6, and now it is for the 6th round that Astralis has won. The Sonics are still exceptionally favored to make it to the major, but their chances of going, if they lose in regulation, are still 87%. But, I mean, you have to worry. Look at G2 last stage. They had what? Like at one point they had like a 3% chance of making the major, and they still made it. So
anything's possible.
Anything's possible. Right now, TSM look all but certain to go. They are not locked in just yet, but they are in mighty good shape. They play Parabellum in the very next matchup. Mirage as well in very good shape. If they escape with 2 or 3 points against beastcoast, I believe that's more than enough for them to qualify. But then Astralis will have the outside shot. If the Sonics lose here in regulation and lose next week in regulation, with Astralis winning in regulation both times, then it's Astralis who goes, and the Sonics, who have been dominating this league since the beginning, will find themselves not participating in the next major.
It's kind of wild.
It is.
I think it was like on Playday 4/5, everyone is like, Sonics, they're going to make the major. They're looking so formidable. And they still are looking like a really good team. But, you know, now that teams have had time to figure them out, scrim them more, and of course see them play throughout the stage, we are seeing Sonics' weaknesses being exposed a little bit more. But in this particular matchup, Astralis, look, they have so much fun every single round, and they're just firing on all cylinders. And we had the community vote between who's more clutch or whatever, or who's going to win more clutches. It was Forest and Geo. And Geo won the vote with like 66%, I believe. But it's like, come on, guys, look at Forest right now. Man has 10 kills, won the 1v1 earlier, and he's putting up some great numbers. Geo, he played Monty on attack. He was just vibing around, sure. But Forest right now is like the player for Astralis on Skyscraper.
Forest has been the player for Astralis, Nick, all stage. And basically since he got picked up, Forest has really been the secret weapon of this roster. The secret sauce, if we want to call it. Both he and Callout getting onto this team, one as a coach, obviously, and Forest as an active player, completely changed the identity of Astralis. They finished first in Stage 1. They finished first in Stage 2. They were runner-ups at the Charlotte Major that happened in the spring. And yeah, they didn't have a very good result at Berlin, if memory serves me correctly. They were the first team to actually get eliminated. But you have stumbles. Every team does. We've seen teams win majors, then almost get relegated the very next stage.
It is true. Of course, Astralis, they got more work to be done. They need this final round or one of these next upcoming rounds to win this in regulation, which is what they want the most.
A lot of utility that was just used, by the way. And again, thanks to the ties, spectating yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Got to catch a lot with the bandit tricking, and now we get to see the immense amount of value that these gadgets bring. The story of Rainbow Six is so often not about who gets the kills, but how you get them. And, oh no, facilitating your teammates is huge. Astralis decide that with everybody still up on the defense, it's time to go. Kansan's down. Shuttle's been traded out, but has not been retrieved just yet. There's Geo to do it, but J90 does not let him get much farther. Astralis can walk in and attempt the plant. Forest has diffuser in hand, and he wants to take the engagement instead of going for the diffuser. Maybe try to get the case down. There you go. But he does so in a way where he's completely exposed to Gunner. Not where you want to be. Iconic finds safer harbor and looks like he'll be able to get it done. So now it's incumbent upon Astralis with the match on the line to keep the Sonics from getting back to the bomb site. Gunner and Rexon have some really heavy lifting to do here. They walked in with an excellent shot of clinching the major today, but the Sonics find themselves on the wrong side of Astralis, who woke up and chose violence. Astralis outside of the map, waiting, tempting them to get on it. There's Gunner on the diffuser. You gotta go. You gotta go. You gotta shut him down. He's almost there. You get him just in time, and it's Rexon to die to J90. Sonics seemingly had the answer very close, but Astralis, they recover right as they seem to stumble. They put Soniqs in the wastebasket 7-3 today and keep their dreams of going to the major alive.
That is way too close to comfort, by the way. I thought they had it for a moment there. I think it's sub 1 second, at least very close to that. Beautiful explosiveness again from Astralis. They couldn't really find the execute angle at first. Then they said, they're just throwing that summer charge, jump in with it, flashbang comes through, and then you trade each other back to back to back for that man advantage. Well done, and a beautifully played Skyscraper for them with a 7-3 victory against Soniqs.
Well, you saw at the bottom the likelihood of Soniqs making it. Well, I don't know if they're able to clinch just yet because Astralis is going to be breathing down their necks. It might be a huge week for two teams next Wednesday. Soniqs play Mirage. If Mirage loses to beastcoast today, that is going to be such a pivotal matchup. As for Astralis, they play OXG. OXG is not really playing for anything outside of getting out of the basement of North America because the likelihood of OXG making SI is exceptionally high. They have not made it to the major. They've already been eliminated. And well, yeah, that's obviously not the result that they want. They could play gatekeeper as to who does make it to the major that'll happen in Sweden next month. All that said, we got two more matches before the day is done. Parabellum versus TSM. A victory for TSM clinches their spot at the major as we're getting down to the deadline here in NAL. Sit tight. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Lots of energy, lots of focus.